Hey, feasters, it's Jason, or Rezzz if you'd like, and I'm answering your questions so that you can get past the bumps in the road to building a profitable freelance business. And today is a little bit of a different kind of question, but you know, hey, I'm an open book. I don't mind answering any questions, so when you ask it, I'm going to answer it. So today's question is, what did your parents or your significant other say when you told them you wanted to freelance? Well, I think this is a fantastic question on so many levels. I've been there wondering, what is somebody going to think, especially if that someone is important to me? What are they going to think about my career choice? This question brings me back to when I was in college and I had an all out shouting match with my mother about dropping out of college and going out west to Silicon Valley. I mean, this is dating me a little bit, but this was during the late 90s and I had a skill which was web development. At that point, it was really just HTML and JavaScript at a basic level. That everyone with that skill was flocking out west to make some money, or so it seemed to me anyway. So I think my mom at an early age knew that I was going to be going against the grain a bit. Sure, I got good grades and I was a good athlete too. And I was, for the most part, a well-behaved kid. But she could tell from the time I had a paper route as a kid, selling baseball cards when I was a kid, to getting my first job as a stock boy at 14 years old, I am pretty motivated, entrepreneurial, and ambitious. The thing is my mom supported me in anything and everything that I did. She encouraged me, she guided me, she even questioned me. All these things allowed me to essentially choose my own path and ultimately make decisions for myself. So this blowout I had with her in college, I don't think came as a big shock to her, but maybe it was a surprise that it was so early as it was. Look, ultimately she won that fight. I stayed in college, stayed here in New York, and got my degree. I'm sure that when TJ gets older, there will be somewhat of a similar discussion, so to speak, to be had. And how that remains, how that will unfold remains to be seen. When I struck out freelancing for the first time, though, it was in the early 2000s. My family and friends were supportive of me. Sure, they worried about the normal things that people worry about, like security and the reliability of the income and how it was all going to happen. But they knew me, right? They knew, they didn't really wonder about the how as much, right? They knew that somehow in the end it would work out. And well, hey, almost 20 years later, so far so good, right? Now, when I met my wife, I was already doing it, right? So she's been through the ringer with decisions around the business, client struggles, the ebb and flow of when I'll actually get paid, those kind of things. But there was never really a question of me being a freelancer from her perspective. In fact, there was a time when I told her that I would have to go find a full-time job. And she said, "That's not what you want to do. I know that, and you know that. We'll figure it out together." And she said this literally a month and a half after we got engaged, or maybe it was just a month after we got engaged. She's been super supportive, questioned some things along the way, maybe even had some doubts about my goals, but each and every time we came to a decision together and came out in the end for the better, right? So thinking back though, I was really nervous to have my in-laws find out for the first time what I do. And I've been nervous at times to find out what close friends might have thought about some of the decisions that I made. But all in all, it's been great. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with supportive people. And not necessarily supportive of your choice, but supportive of you, right? And what I mean by this is, to this day, my mom still really doesn't understand what I do, right? But she's proud of the life and happy if I'm happy, right? She's proud of my life. So my friends may question some of the decisions, like I said, um, you know, around what I choose to work on versus what I choose not to work on. But they know that I always manage to figure out a way. If you surround yourself with doubters or people who will judge you constantly, then inevitably that's going to start to rub off on you and you'll start to doubt yourself. These people are detractors. If you find that your family are detractors, then take what they say as concern for your well-being, right? And your security and their own fears of the unknown. It doesn't mean that they don't support you. It's just that they may not see down the same path as you. It's family. Remember that. Instead, I encourage you to surround yourself with folks that may challenge you, play a little bit of a devil's advocate, if you will, and find your own path. Don't be shy about telling someone about you deciding to freelance. Let them think what they think and leave it at that. There's really no better time than now to plant your flag in the freelance space. If you have a question, ask Rezzz. That's me, by dropping me a tweet, an email, or leave a comment in iTunes. You can go to rezzz.com/iTunes and leave your question there. I'll be happy to answer it there. And while you're there, please go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast get discovered by other freelancers like yourself. And until next time, it's your time to live in the feast.